Nicholas Pileggi captured the spirit and gritty reality of the mob in his book Wiseguy and the movie version Goodfellas. His latest book is called Casino, Love and Honor in Las Vegas. It's about gangsters' Las Vegas style. Nicholas, thanks for coming in. Welcome to our program, senor.
Thanks for having me.
Let me ask you first, just in your own life, how you learned the difference between the AP and the A&P. One being the Associated Press, the other being a grocery store.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I was finishing college and wanted a sort of job in my last year in school. And I said, is there any job around at night that I could go to finishing school? Said, oh, yeah, there's a job at the AP. And I said, okay. I assumed it was the A&P. And I said, where is it? He said, 50 Rockefeller Plaza. Just go up and see Joe Kelleher and he'll hire you. I went off. I mean, it's so retarded. I actually thought there would be an A&P.
A grocery store.
Yes, at 50 Rockefeller Plaza. You having lived much of your life in that area. I mean, it's, $10,000 a square inch in rental space. You're really dumb at a certain point.
So anyway, you wound up with the Associated Press
Yes.
for a time. What was it that drew you into covering crime, hanging out with cops, writing stories about crooks, cops and robbers?
Are you kidding? It's the best thing in the world.
Really?
Oh, God. I was an English major in school, and I wound up living a life that was like some television show. I worked out of the office. We covered the city in districts in those days. You rode around in the back of a police car. You drank with cops. You slept off hangovers in the back of squad rooms. Walter Winchell was running around the streets, breaking you in and telling you stuff that was going on. It was a
exciting time,
exciting, and it was fascinating.
What is different about crime in the 80s? And I'm talking about organized crime here.
Yes.
I tend not to use the word that associates it solely with Italians, but organized crime today versus the 1950s. The movies glorified the 40s, 50s, and 60s, the Godfather motion pictures.
Yes.
Your picture, the Wiseguy, which became Goodfellas, glorified that 60s, 70s, 50s thing. How is it different now, Nicholas?
Big difference.
Yeah?
Drugs. In the 50s and the 40s and before drugs, gangsters were what? Gangsters were gamblers. It was guys and dolls.
Yeah.
It was a wonder. They were lovable rogues. There was they were murderous. You had Murder Incorporated too, and you had the Untouchables, but they were not quite housebroken, but you could live with them. The minute drugs entered the scene, you can't do guys and dolls about drugs. You can't have an interesting...
But how did they get to drugs? Because even though it was fictionalized, if we go to Mario Puzo and The Godfather, and we see Don Corleone arguing against drugs to his fellow Dons, saying, we don't want to get involved with this, this is not for us. Please. Where did it turn? Where did the mob go? Why did they go to drugs? Well, I guess because the government ran them out of everything else. They took them out of booze, took them out of numbers, took them out of gambling.
Well, there's part of it, and the other part of it was the transportation of the stuff was available, and the poppy fields were there. It's a sad and a horrible period, and we haven't recovered from it since.
But is there the kind of, and I know we're talking about murderers here, but is there the kind of honor among murderers now that there appeared to be, even though it was fiction up there, even though Goodfellas was fiction, even though Godfather was fiction, there was a certain amount of reality to it, and there was honor among those murderers. There were gentlemen's agreements there. Does that still exist, or is that all gone now?
Well, I'll tell you one interesting thing. Okay. Until Joe Valachi, nobody had talked. From the turn of the century to Joe Valachi in 1962, not one of those guys had ever, as they say, ratted anybody out. They went to jail. Lepke Buckhalter went to the chair. Nobody heard a peep. Since Valachi, since drugs, they're all talking. They're all talking. The Boy Scouts have more secrets today than the mob. There are no more secrets. The secret society is common knowledge to all.
Anyway, this book, Casino, is about the influence of organized crime in Las Vegas.
Yes.
There was a time when they ran Las Vegas. Bugsy Siegel, for example.
Yes.
Who was the other fellow over there from back east? Meyer Lansky had got great influence. Okay. Now business operates Las Vegas. Barron Hilton operates Las Vegas.
Right.
Steve Wynn operates Las Vegas.
Right.
What's left for organized crime in Las Vegas?
Well, there's lots for organized crime to move into. There's illegal bookmaking, there's loan sharking, there's always that gambler who goes a little beyond where he should.
Sure.
But the mob's control in Las Vegas ended about 1983 with the conviction and the end of the Teamsters Pension Fund's power to control casinos. That was the only place you could get money in those days, was the Teamsters Pension Fund. and the police and the FBI and the Justice Department just put them out of the box. And when they were out of the box, the mob lost its influence over those casinos.
But up until that time, who was the big guy there? Lefty Rosenthal, wasn't he the man that
Well, Frank Rosenthal was really not the mob guy. He was the gambler. He was the man who ran the casinos. He was a brilliant handicapper and a very, very smart man. And he ran 4 casinos that eventually turned out to have been run or controlled by the mob. But he ran them as a casino executive.
But in Cousins, we spent some time with this man, did we not, Rosenthal?
Did you spend some time with Rosenthal and Cousins? You might have.
Or no, in Casino, I'm sorry.
Oh, in Casino, yes, indeed. I mean, I thought, because Cousins is the name of a fabulous men's shop in Las Vegas. I thought you might have actually met him in Cousins' men's shop. All right. In Casino, yes.
Did I say Cousins? I really did, didn't I?
Yeah, you did say Cousins. Yeah. Great shop.
I've been in there. My mind was there for a second.
I can see a shirt coming in the mail.
Play your cards right.
What's the size? 16 and a half.
36.
35?
36.
You got it.
Yeah, well, listen, to play your cards right, I can see 2.
I'm working at it. I'm working.
So anyway, Rosenthal here. A
lefty Rosenthal, Frank Rosenthal ran 4 casinos. Casinos eventually turned out to be run be owned and controlled by the mob guys. He was a fascinating man. And as long as he was able to make money for these casinos and generate this money, you know, he's the guy who brought Siegfried and Roy in. I mean, he created them. He is the first man to run casinos and hire women blackjack dealers. You know what that meant? It just doubled the drop in blackjack. And every casino owner on the Strip was saying, Frank, you're crazy. What are you hiring women for? But he knew. He also is the first person to bring the race books, the sports books, into the casinos. And he was, no, he's crazy. Well, he was a very innovative man in the casino business. Unfortunately, those casinos were controlled secretly, in a hidden way, by the mob bosses of 4 families.
And when the mob controlled those 4 casinos and others, how was Las Vegas different? I mean, those of us who are beyond the age of 50 who used to go to Vegas in the 60s and early 70s, we remember it as being friendlier.
Yes.
You know, if you lost a lot of money, they'd buy you a dinner and an airline ticket home.
You bet.
They made sure that even though you got beat, you weren't beaten to the ground.
That's right.
There was a different atmosphere in Las Vegas.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. What's changed? What was different then?
Well, it was a personal place. When you walked into a casino then, you might have 400 rooms, 300 rooms, 500 rooms, the host knew you. The host might have had a broken nose and he might have been an ex-bookmaker, but he knew you. And he said, hey, Tom, how are you? It's good to see you. How's the wife? How's you? And when you got to a hotel, your room was waiting for you. Now when you go to these places, they got 5,000 rooms and you wait for your room. I mean, I've seen lines checking into casinos today. It's like checking into an airport. I mean, you practically go through those things. It's an extraordinary, totally different world.
You know who was a great guy, and he was a murderer, God rest his soul.
God rest his soul.
Benny Binion.
Oh, Benny Binion is extraordinary.
Benny Binion's Horseshoe. Remember Benny Binion?
Yes.
I went in there one night. We did a show there, Nicholas, with Amarillo Slim, you know, the World Championship of poker. And afterwards, we went and had dinner with Benny Binion and his son in the dining room, And then he wanted all the girls who worked on the show to play blackjack. He gave them all $200-300 in chips. And Amaretto Slim dealt the blackjack game, and no girl lost. Each girl won $2,000, and they walked out with the money. Binion, I mean, he would give you anything.
Oh, Binion was a generous, fascinating man. The bigger than life. You see, these guys were bigger than life.
I'll tell you, folks, you go into Binion's to this day. Does he still have the $1 million there?
Yes, he does.
In $10,000 bills?
$10,000 bills.
Isn't that incredible?
Samuel Chase, I think is the
And remember the time a guy walked into Binion's and bet $1 million on the pass line?
Yes.
That was a setup, you know.
That's right. And, well, it could have been.
No.
But Binion would cover just about any bet you went in there with.
Any bet that you made. But I know a guy who's in PR. I won't give his name away because I don't want to spoil the story. But he claims that they went to Binion and said, look, the guy's going to come in and bet $1 million. And Binion says, what if I lose? He says, even if you lose, he says, you'll be in 2,500 newspapers around the world. He says, for $1 million, you can't buy that kind of coverage. And the guy turned out to be right. Binion was everywhere. Yes. I got to pause. We're talking here with, this is great stuff that you're talking about here. Nicholas Pileggi, Casino, I'll Love and Honor in Las Vegas, soon to be a major motion picture. I want to ask you about that. It's going to be a big movie. You know
you
that.
can ask anything.
Okay, I know I can, but I want to get the shirt. We're at 800, you know, hey, you know, a cigar is only a cigar, but a good shirt's an outfit. 800-952-2788. I don't know how we get it done, but we do.
Take the heat out of shaving with new Old Spice Soothing Gel. It'll cool the burn, soothe your skin, it'll make your face feel great. Or call 1-800-PROVE-IT for a full refund. So try new Soothing Gel, because now you've got proof. Guaranteed.
Right now, during the Limited's Great American Fall Sale. Every sweatshirt is 20 to 40% off. Every sweater is 20 to 40% off. Fall savings throughout the store during the Great American Fall Sale, only at the new Limited.
Wherever I go, Hank goes. Unfortunately, so does the smell. But a quick fix flowery cover-up isn't the answer. Glade Neutralizer Electric is. Made with natural plant and herb extracts, it's the only electric that neutralizes for an open window freshness that lasts 30 days. 30 days of continuous freshness. That's a lot easier than 30 days of continuous baths. Oh, Hank.
Refillable Glade Neutralizer Electric.
Fresh from Glade, SC Johnson Wax.
We do less all day than most people do before sunrise. No, this job isn't for everyone, but if you've got what it takes, maybe you can be one of us. The few. The patient.
The lonely.
Maytag. The dependability people.
It's tough to describe a headache. You just want it gone. But not with aspirin. Advil's a lot gentler to my stomach. There's Tylenol, but 2 Advil work better on tough headache pain. There is Excedrin, but that's aspirin, and the ingredient in Tylenol, and caffeine. I don't want all that. I'll go with Advil.
Advil contains the #1 doctor-prescribed pain reliever in its class.
Nothing is proven to work better or last longer than Advil. Nothing.
Advanced medicine for pain.
From the makers of Rice-A-Roni, another San Francisco treat.
Pastaroni, a San Francisco treat.
Pastaroni, delicious pasta and sauce combinations.
Pastaroni, a San Francisco treat.
Dear car owners, a local mechanic could take days to get the muffler that's made for your car or truck, but Midas has mufflers that fit thousands of foreign and domestic cars and trucks. And we can usually do the job in less than an hour. That's the Midas way, the way it should be.
Colin Powell. He may be the next president, but could he be king? Believe it or not, we've traced his ancestry to Princess Diana. It's Colin Powell's royal family ties. Then, Tom Cruise and the secrets behind his rise to mega movie star. From his humble beginnings to his romantic relationships. Exclusive, the book that reveals the truth about Tom. Plus, they've got the best bodies on the bikini circuit. It's your exclusive first look at the Hooters Bikini Bash on hard copy.
Tonight at 7 on New York's Channel 2.